Do you still think that, because there is this public perception, that there are celebrity tapes involved in this case?
No.
Do you still think that there are minors involved in this case?
I'm certain no.
Okay.
And again, when you say this case, we're talking the criminal case.
The criminal case.
In the
correct.
criminal,
I know that.
In the criminal case,
right.
no.
Wow, you guys, if you thought it couldn't get any worse, it actually does. Diddy's being hit with another SA lawsuit, but this time from a former male employee. And he's saying that Diddy would touch him inappropriately.
Let me show you this clip of LeBron James speaking about how much he loves a Diddy party.
Hey, everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah.
Ain't no party like a Diddy party. And so where is LeBron James, who has elected himself the mayor of speaking out when nobody cares to hear his opinion? Because if you're telling me that you use your platform to speak out when there are Black victims, there sure as hell seems to be a lot of them when it comes to Diddy. Is it plausible that the reason that LeBron James is opting to be so quiet is because when he read that lawsuit and realized that Diddy had cameras everywhere, unbeknownst to his party goers at these freak-offs, is it plausible that he's got LeBron James doing something that he wouldn't want made public? I don't know. I'm just asking questions. I'm just asking for the king to use his platform to speak to us peasants. And that's all I'm saying about that.
Everyone knew he was the devil. He's been the devil for 30 years. He's been covered and protected by not only Clive Davis, but Lucian Grange. He was selected to be the demon that he is, to keep the culture in line so the industry could continue to reap it for all of its precious jewels. We have too many lost. The list of lost is ridiculous, and everyone knows Diddy was selected for this job. He's the Judas.
One thing that really stands out that she says is that at one point Diddy had a knife inside her mouth and then says, "I'm going to give you a Glasgow smile," which is, slitting someone's cheeks. But he's warned against it by a member of his team, saying Diddy's associates would prefer it if she, referring to Ashley, looked normal. She also says that they said to her they could ship her off and sell her to anyone in the world and she'd never be seen again by her parents or loved ones. Now, Ashley did make a police report in 2018 at the time of the alleged incident, and the Contra Costa Sheriff's Department confirmed her report was thoroughly investigated and it was determined the claims were unfounded.
What happens is if people go into a trial believing the firepower on the prosecution is so strong, let's say on a scale of 1 to 100, it's a 95 that it's so strong, but it goes down to an 88. That helps the defense because everybody goes in thinking, wow, they're going to prove this and they're going to prove this and they're going to prove this. And all of a sudden, none of it's there. I think that actually helps the defense.
I think also the silence of certain individuals like LeBron James is quite deafening. A person who claims to care so much about Black life, Black Lives Matter, on the ground, taking a kneel. Okay, that's fine. But now you have a friend of yours who has been on camera beating a Black woman. Okay, you said nothing when that happened. You also know that you have various Black people speaking out about how they were abused by him, and you have said nothing. So I don't like the hypocrisy behind that. It might be a good time to use your platform. I'm calling out the hypocrisy and the double standard of that. If LeBron James had kept his mouth shut on every other issue and said nothing, I wouldn't be like, hey, why is LeBron James being quiet on this issue? I'd say he doesn't typically weigh in on anything. So it wouldn't make sense to put pressure on him to do it. It's the exact opposite. I'm saying keep the exact same energy that you have had on every other Black issue when it comes to your door and it pertains to a friend of yours that you were partying with. I think that's pretty sensible.
The decision guarantees Combs will face trial beginning just 4 days from now that will test whether one of music's most prolific figures used his power, wealth, and fame to exploit both women and men for decades.
Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. Our next story takes us out to the Big Apple as Sean Diddy Combs will be back in court today for day 2 of his trafficking and racketeering trial. Jury selection is set to resume with 19 jurors from the first day's pool moving on to the next stage. Fox 5 New York's Briella Tomasetti joins us live this morning outside the courthouse in Lower Manhattan with the very latest details. A lot of eyes on this case, Briella. Good morning.
Gina, good morning to you. And I can tell you this, it's expected to be another busy day at court. As a reminder, yesterday, potential jurors were given a brief explanation of the charges. The judge also told them that the defendant is presumed innocent until proven guilty.
Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs back behind bars. A magistrate judge denying him bail, saying that there were no conditions that she could conceive of that would make her confident that he would appear again for other court appearances. The judge saying, my concern is this is a crime that happens behind closed doors.
Diddy's team said Mr. Combs was nowhere near Orinda, California on the day that she claimed she was assaulted. There's no evidence that Mr. Combs was ever even in the same room as the alleged victim. She's completely unbelievable, and no sane person who views the evidence will credit her story.
Would you be open to a plea bargain?
Well, it's not up to me. It's up to Mr. Combs, and I don't see it happening.
Why?
Because he believes he's innocent. He believes he's innocent. And what's more, he believes that he needs to stand up, not just for himself, for his family, and for everybody who's been targeted by the federal government.
What made you come here to support Puff?
I'm supporting Puff because he's innocent, and I'm wholeheartedly believing his innocence, and I know he's innocent. So
you say you know he's innocent?
1,000%.
Now, as far as jury selection goes, I think the biggest takeaway for me is that both sides expect to have all of this done in the matter of 3 days. Now, given just how high profile this trial is, I was kind of stunned that they seem very confident that they will be able to seat a jury in that amount of time.
Oh, that's LeBron. That's LeBron. Oh, man. That's LeBron having the time of his life. He's having the time of his life in the offseason.
No, ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah.
This is going to be such a massive trial, like maybe the biggest Hollywood trial. God knows which way it's going to go. Are they going to, is it going to go on for weeks? And
oh, for sure, weeks.
Back up a little bit, please.
How can you support your father? How do you support him moving forward?
Elaborate, sometimes days-long parties by coercing victims through drugs, threats, and manipulation. They claim to have video evidence, and some of the accusations echo details from over 70 civil lawsuits filed against Combs over the last 30 years.
At trial, Combs will ditch the jail garb and wear ordinary clothes, as his lawyers argue the evidence shows consenting adults being intimate in their own way.
We have the latest from federal court in the Sean Combs criminal case. Status of jury selection, what Diddy's going to be wearing, violation of a gag order, rejecting a plea offer.
Major developments tonight involving the case against Sean Diddy Combs, what he decided in court today, and what this now means, the move coming just 4 days before his trial is set to begin. Here's Aaron Katursky.
We made love. We made love.
Who you made love with?
Diddy, Bow Wow, Busta Rhymes.
You that? Yes, TD Jakes is Kim Porter. So you tell me what they was doing. I'm not going to express how I feel about that because I don't.
Isn't that, to my mind, that's one of the bigger hurdles in selecting a jury this coming week, is that there is, at least anecdotally, when I talk to people, they have that opinion, strongly held opinion, that there's celebrity tapes, that they've kind of conflated Epstein, and you mentioned Ghislaine Maxwell and all of these things into Diddy. There's this idea that somehow this is Epstein redux or something.
Panda is a secret code for a certain thing, and so when it comes down to that certain thing, what it is you basically have a certain nerve in your rectum, And if you touch that nerve, you can turn a person into an animal. You can turn a person into whatever you want them to be if you just hold them down.
The last hearing before Sean Combs' trial starts, when he walked into federal court today, he appeared to be looking for his family. They've pretty much been at all of the hearings that I've been to, but there was no presence of his sons or his mother or his sister who had previously been at those hearings.
He knows the deck is stacked against him. They've got a ton of evidence. Take the plea deal, dude. Just take it.
Well, my guess is that because we don't know the deal of the plea deal. At least I don't think we do.
True.
Okay.
Diddy's lawyers had argued that he had made good faith efforts by showing up in New York, ready to surrender to face these charges, but prosecutors said that he could not be trusted, that he has a history of trying to intimidate witnesses, including some who are going to be witnesses in this case. They urged the judge to remand him. She did, and when the judge did, Diddy, who was sitting at the defense table with his attorneys, did not show any signs of emotion. He took a sip of water before he was led out of the courtroom by the U.S. Marshals. Now, his lawyers have vowed to fight this. They are going to be back in court on Wednesday before the judge who will oversee this trial and try to get Diddy to be released.
Well, Bill and Sade, accepting a plea agreement would mean that Sean Combs would have to admit to trafficking and force. And today he made it very clear that was not going to happen. Diddy maintained all along these encounters involved consenting adults and plans to take his chances that a jury agrees.
Tonight, Sean Combs makes it official. He's rejecting the government's offer to plead guilty and spare himself the possibility of a prolonged term in prison. When asked if he turned down the offer, Combs answered, "Yes, I do, Your Honor," as he stood in a baggy beige jail uniform. Terms were not disclosed, but prosecutors did say a plea could result in a shorter sentence for Combs than if he's convicted.
Mr. Combs feels A, he's innocent, which is why he's not going to plead guilty. B, he's going to be truthful about this case because he wants to portray that to the people who have loved him his whole life. And I think he also feels an obligation to people in general. Maybe it's Black people, maybe it's white people, maybe it's anybody who's ever felt aggrieved and targeted by the government. He feels an obligation to those people to say, you know what, maybe I can break the model. Maybe I can show the world that a Black man can win, in federal court. And I think he probably is the only person I know of who might be able to actually accomplish that.
Sean Diddy Combs has been a towering figure in the music industry for decades, known for his extravagant parties that became the stuff of legend in Hollywood. But beneath the glitz and glamour of these exclusive gatherings, there were some celebrities who made the conscious decision to stay away. And in light of recent allegations against the music mogul, their decisions seem almost prophetic. Today, we're diving into the world of Diddy's infamous parties, the celebrities who refused his invitations, and how their instincts may have served them well in the long run. The parties thrown by Sean Combs became notorious in the entertainment industry. His white parties in the Hamptons, his pre-Grammy bashes, and his star-studded birthday celebrations were the hottest tickets in town. An invitation to one of Diddy's events meant you had arrived in Hollywood. These weren't just parties, they were networking opportunities, status symbols, and for some, a rite of passage in the entertainment world. But while many celebrities clamored to get on his guest lists, others deliberately kept their distance. But first, let's understand what made these parties so legendary and why they became such powerful cultural events in the entertainment industry. Diddy's parties weren't just about having a good time, they represented something bigger in the celebrity ecosystem. They were where deals were made, alliances were formed, and careers could be launched or elevated. The guest lists read like a who's who of entertainment royalty, from movie stars to musicians, athletes to politicians. These events became so influential that getting snubbed from one could actually make news headlines and affect a celebrity's perceived status in Hollywood. The sheer opulence of these gatherings was staggering. Diddy reportedly spent millions on individual parties, flying in exotic foods, hiring world-class performers, and transforming venues into elaborate fantasy worlds. His white parties in the Hamptons became particularly legendary, with strict dress codes and security measures that would rival presidential protection details. Celebrities would go to extraordinary lengths to secure invitations, seeing them as validation of their status in the entertainment hierarchy. The parties also became famous for what allegedly happened behind closed doors, with rumors of wild activities that went far beyond typical celebrity indulgences. However, as Diddy's empire has come under increasing scrutiny following serious allegations, including federal investigations into trafficking and racketeering, many in Hollywood are now distancing themselves from the mogul. But there were some celebrities who seemed to sense something off long before these allegations became public. Their decisions to avoid Diddy's orbit now appear particularly insightful. One of the most notable celebrities who deliberately kept his distance from Diddy's inner circle was Leonardo DiCaprio. Despite being one of Hollywood's biggest party animals throughout the 90s and 2000s, DiCaprio was rarely if ever seen at Diddy's infamous gatherings. Industry insiders have noted that while Leo attended plenty of high-profile events, he seemed to have an unspoken boundary when it came to Diddy's parties. Some sources close to the actor have suggested that DiCaprio always had a sixth sense about potentially problematic situations and preferred to host his own gatherings where he maintained control of the guest list and activities. His absence from Diddy's inner circle is particularly telling given how their social circles otherwise significantly overlapped. DiCaprio's career has remained relatively scandal-free despite his celebrity status, which many attribute to his careful selection of associates and social situations. While never publicly commenting on why he avoided Diddy's events, his actions spoke volumes. In Hollywood, where who you associate with can be just as important as your work, DiCaprio's selective socializing has helped maintain his reputation as one of the industry's most respected actors. Some insiders have suggested that DiCaprio was warned about Diddy's parties by fellow actors who had attended and felt uncomfortable with what they witnessed. Whatever his reasons, his instincts to maintain distance now appear remarkably prescient. Another major celebrity who notably kept Diddy at arm's length was Taylor Swift. Despite being one of the biggest stars in the music industry for over a decade, Swift has never been part of Diddy's social circle. While many of her contemporaries in the music industry attended his events or collaborated with him professionally, Swift consistently maintained her distance. Industry sources have suggested that Swift's tight-knit team has always been extremely selective about her associations, particularly with older male music executives with controversial reputations. Swift's career has been marked by her careful image management and selection of collaborators. While never directly addressing Diddy or his events, she's been known to trust her instincts about people and situations that don't feel right. Her management team, including her parents who were heavily involved in her early career, reportedly steered her away from certain industry figures they considered potential liabilities. This strategy has served her well, as she's navigated the music industry while avoiding many of the pitfalls that have damaged other young female artists' careers. Swift's ability to maintain control of her career and image while becoming one of the most successful artists of all time suggests her selective networking approach was indeed wise. Interestingly, Keanu Reeves is another major star who never seemed to cross paths with Diddy's empire. Known for his humble nature and down-to-earth personality, Reeves has always marched to the beat of his own drum in Hollywood. Despite his A-list status spanning decades, Reeves was notably absent from Diddy's high-profile events. Sources close to the actor have suggested that Reeves has always been uncomfortable with the excessive displays of wealth and status that characterized Diddy's parties. His preference for authenticity and genuine connections made him naturally averse to environments centered around power dynamics and networking. Throughout his career, Reeves has been known for his kindness, generosity, and lack of interest in the typical Hollywood power games. He consistently avoids the celebrity party circuit in favor of more meaningful personal relationships. While he's never spoken publicly about Diddy or his gatherings, his absence from these events aligns perfectly with his known character and values. Reeves' career has thrived despite, or perhaps because of, his refusal to engage in Hollywood's more questionable social scenes, focusing instead on his craft and charitable work. His instinct to avoid certain industry gatherings now seems to have been another example of his authentic and principled approach to fame. A particularly interesting case is Eminem, who, despite sharing the same industry and era as Diddy, maintained a noticeably cool relationship with the Bad Boy founder. While many rappers eagerly accepted invitations to Diddy's events or sought collaborations with him, Eminem kept his distance. The Detroit rapper has always been selective about his associations in the industry, preferring to stick close to his mentor Dr. Dre and a small circle of trusted collaborators. Industry insiders have noted that Eminem seemed to deliberately avoid becoming entangled in Diddy's world, despite multiple opportunities for their paths to cross more significantly. There has long been speculation about tension between Eminem and Diddy, dating back to the East Coast-West Coast rap feuds of the 1990s. Eminem was close with Dr. Dre, who had his own complicated history with Diddy. In his music, Eminem has occasionally made subtle references that some interpret as shots at Diddy's business practices or persona. On his track Kill Shot, Eminem even included a controversial line about Diddy and Tupac Shakur's death, suggesting he had suspicions about Diddy's potential involvement, though he later claimed this was not meant to be taken literally. Whatever the full story, Eminem's decision to maintain distance from Diddy's sphere of influence may have been based on more than just personal preference. Many female celebrities also seem to have an unspoken rule about avoiding Diddy's inner circle. Jennifer Lawrence, for example, despite being known for her party-loving personality and candid nature, has never been associated with Diddy's events. As one of Hollywood's most bankable stars, Lawrence would certainly have been welcome at his gatherings, yet she consistently stayed away. Sources close to the actress have suggested that Lawrence and her team have always been careful about which industry power players she associates with, preferring to build relationships with established female producers and directors who could help advance her career without potential complications. Lawrence rose to fame during a period when Diddy's parties were still major events in Hollywood, yet she managed to navigate her career without ever becoming part of that scene. Her friendship circle has typically consisted of other actresses like Emma Stone and Amy Schumer, rather than music industry figures. While Lawrence has never publicly commented on Diddy specifically, another example of her savvy approach to navigating Hollywood. Tom Hanks, one of Hollywood's most beloved and respected actors, is another major star who never became part of Diddy's social circle. Despite his decades in the industry and universal popularity, Hanks and his wife Rita Wilson have maintained a notably wholesome image, avoiding the more excessive aspects of celebrity culture. Industry observers have noted that Hanks has always been selective about his non-professional associations, preferring family time and a close circle of long-standing friends over the extravagant party scene. Hanks' image has remained untarnished by scandal, contributing to his status as one of the industry's most revered figures. While it's unclear whether Hanks ever had any personal experiences with Diddy's gatherings, his decision to cultivate relationships outside the realm of flashy events further emphasizes his commitment to genuine connections and a down-to-earth lifestyle. Another interesting personality in this narrative is Rihanna, who admittedly has had a complicated relationship with Diddy. While they have worked together in the past, Rihanna has also shown a knack for shifting her alliances in the ever-changing landscape of the music industry. Despite her immense fame, Rihanna often chose to create her own path, associating more with fellow artists who share her vision rather than relying on the established networks of figures like Diddy. Sources close to the singer suggest that she has always been cautious about whom she lets into her inner circle, preferring collaborators who uplift and inspire her creative journey. In recent years, Rihanna has flourished by focusing on her business ventures and evolving her brand, all while maintaining a strong sense of authenticity. Her success serves as a testament to the power of surrounding oneself with the right people and steering clear of partnerships that could potentially lead to harm. Rihanna's strategic distance from more dubious figures exemplifies her shrewdness in managing her career without unnecessary complications, showcasing the immense potential that comes with trusting one's intuition. Meanwhile, the likes of the Kardashian-Jenner family present an interesting contrast. While some family members have been spotted at Diddy's parties, their relationships with him have often been transactional rather than deeply personal. The Kardashians have built an empire based on savvy business dealings and public personas, and their brief appearances at events like Diddy's might be seen as another piece of the celebrity puzzle rather than genuine friendships. Their apparent strategy revolves around leveraging visibility while avoiding the negative repercussions that align with more scandalous figures in the industry. As the allegations against Diddy continue to swirl, the contrasting choices of celebrities reflecting on their affiliations take on even more significance. Many of those who reported feeling uneasy about Diddy's social gatherings might now feel vindicated in their instincts. Maintaining distance from figures surrounded by controversy can often serve as a shield against potential fallout when the truth finally comes to light. This preparedness may have protected their careers and personal lives from unwanted drama. And even beyond these A-list personalities, a multitude of lesser-known celebrities, rising stars, and industry insiders have expressed ambivalence regarding Diddy's circle. Even the whispers of disapproval from those who stayed silent paint a telling picture about the overall ecosystem surrounding him. The collective awareness that celebrities seem to project when avoiding potential pitfalls emphasizes just how crucial one's social environment can be in navigating the often treacherous waters of fame. So, could it be that some celebrities are simply wiser than others when it comes to reading the room? In a rapidly shifting industry landscape, having a keen sense of judgment regarding whom to surround oneself with emerges as an invaluable skill. Diddy's parties might have represented the epitome of success in some circles, but to others, they served as cautionary bright neon signs leading away from the chaos. The ultimate takeaway from this unfolding drama is that the right instincts can safeguard one's reputation. Those who have managed to remain untouched by controversy showcase the power of discernment, a gift that can be more precious than gold in Hollywood. As whispers of scandal loom larger than life itself, one can only wonder how many more celebrities will continue to make choices reflective of their gut feelings. In a world filled with endless opportunities for connection, the true challenge remains: how to differentiate between relationships that elevate versus those that might lead to a downward spiral. In a time when the entertainment industry grapples with issues that extend beyond mere celebrity gossip, it's essential to remember that those who trust their instincts can pave the way through uncertainty. Diddy's story is just one facet of a much larger and ongoing dialogue about responsibility in fame, personal accountability, and the power dynamics that often dominate Hollywood. Being selective with one's associations isn't merely a matter of personal preference, but rather an act of self-preservation that many are now fully recognizing. As we look to the future of entertainment, let's celebrate those who have chosen wisely in the face of temptation. Here's to the ongoing journey of self-discovery and empowerment that continues to shape our favorite stars and the stories they embody. The music industry is evolving, and those who heed the lessons from the past are determined to navigate their paths with clarity and purpose. All right, guys, follow me for more of the latest gossip.